show. We'll put it like that.
Nice.
What's it like? I was actually there in attendance in Cleveland for Coe's first career NFL touchdown, which was awesome. And,
Awesome.
It was a great game. You could hear me on camera. I was just screaming, "Say it ain't so, Coe! Say it ain't so!" Sadly, from there, the game kind of went off the rails a little. That was the last high moment of that game, but it was a great game. Overtime loss, fun time.
Yeah.
But how was that moment for you? Seeing the first, whether it was on TV, in person, wherever you were, seeing his first NFL touchdown. How was that?
Well, dude, I mean, we were at home because it was a away game. We don't travel to a lot of the away games because we can get into that later. But, to watch that and to think I wished I was there live. So to have your video was so cool. And just saying, this is so cool. I mean, that was so cool for us. Catching it from Tom Brady, right? Like, he's got the ball yet. First NFL touchdown means a lot, right? I mean, as a dad, that's just so cool to see. And it was fun to watch. And, it didn't have the outcome we wanted, but still the same. What a memory! What a memory to have, right? So,
and honestly,
cool.
those. One of the best guests ever, the Buccateers in the house tonight. You guys hear him on Tampa radio all the time. He's one of the best in the business. My favorite personal in the business. That's why I'm elated tonight. Growing up in the Chicago area, you're used to sports radio. That's what gets me through the day. So this man does help get me through the day, I will say, with the Pat and Aaron show at work. Nothing like it. So it's incredible. It looks like we got Stunna bumbling in. I'm Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat Donovan.
It looks like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like you got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
And he was trying to pull me in big time. And then I was like, nothing's happened with Indianapolis yet. Like, I really want to give Indy a chance. And then also I talked to Cody Bruton, once he took over Richard McCann, it was still like, well, look, I was like, y'all just give me the opportunity to explore free agency, see what's going on, and then come out and make us do it.
All right, everyone, you are tuned into the Buccateers at wide receiver, Kalen Geiger, and we are about to have a great pod. This is the Buccateers. You're tapped in, and here we go. Howdy ho, howdy hey, how the hell is everybody? Welcome into a Sunday fun day on the Buccateers podcast, here to close out your weekend, and a busy one in the world of sports. A lot of stuff going on locally in the 813 area, some fun things. Jlowe being the Rays Fan Fest inside guy, got all the fun scoops and details on that. Joey's going to give his opinion of All-Star Weekend, AEW pay-per-view that was had last night. So much more in the world of sports to talking about. It looks like the Colts added a guy to their staff. Maybe it's solidified now. Bucs staff solidifying. The offseason is here, ladies and gentlemen. But one thing's for sure, we are here as well. We're here to bring you guys the latest and greatest, not only in the world of football here on weekends, whether it's Saturday or Sunday, but in the wide world of sports every weekend, whether it's Saturday or Sunday morning. Join us, and we'll keep you up to date with sports. Joey Nips, how the hell you doing, brother? Fun or interesting? It's been a crowded sports weekend. There's been a lot of activities on this weekend, one way or another.
Yeah, no doubt about it. What up, gentlemen? I did take in some of the NBA All-Star festivities. It's a shame that McClung couldn't, be back and redo his title because most of his dunks, the finals were pretty good, but outside of that, not much. Damian Lillard won 3 out of 4 years now total.
I don't mean to laugh, but was that replay real where Jace Richardson Jr. hit his head on the floor?
Honestly, I'm surprised he doesn't have unless they just hide it because they don't want people to know that happened. But yeah, there could be a potential concussion there, but it was good to see Dame Time back at it. 3 out of 4 times champ, like I said, but next year he'll be healthy, hopefully, and that will be that. But I don't know. It's lost its steam for sure. Back in the day, 20 years ago, Tones and I used to watch it with Pop, so that lost some steam. AEW, like you mentioned, they had a pay-per-view in Australia. They had about
jeez.
good Sunday, guys. They had about they had 6 matches on the card. MJF, the shirt I'm wearing, he won the championship match. And then the Iconics, now little name change, they rejoined in the pre-show as well. So that was a fun pay-per-view. Had some good matches, John Moxley and more. And then, I'm watching the Olympics lately. I'm a big curling guy and hockey guy with this Olympics. So, like you said, a little mix of everything. It's football's over, so you just kind of, even Pebble Beach golf, I'm keeping an eye on. Done blabbering, just mixing it all in.
Man, all these over. At least it was at a decent time, the AEW one. I'll give him credit for being.
I'm just confused if they did it on their time in Australia, which would have been like if the pay-per-view was at like 2 a.m, or they just.
Well, when did it
show it live? Maybe they didn't show it live.
Probably started 7 or 8 our time, which would be.
Because when WWE was live over there, it was 4 a.m. here.
That means it was probably like noon over there, I would say, that like early in the day and then late. Because if you're going back that way, California is a couple hours behind us. Hawaii is an hour behind them. I put them about 3 to 4 hours behind California. So I'm guessing that, though. I don't know. But geez, all these overseas ones, I mean, at least they figured out at the time, but still, damn it. Football and wrestling are American soil things. Keep it over here.
And shout out to Bud. I agree with you. Shout out to Bud Cannibalist. I watched the 2000 dunk contest earlier. Vince Carter, he went, it's over when he was on the Raptors, had some of the best dunks of all time. So mini shout out to Bud.
Jlowe, how the hell you doing? We got Trisha in the house saying happy Sunday, fellas. Happy Sunday to you, Trisha. We love our lady listeners. The great Oscar joining us yet again. Good Sunday, guys. Good Sunday to you, Oscar De La Hoya. We're going to call you Oscar De La Hoya now because you could probably knock somebody on their sense if they need to. The great Bud Cannibalist, as Joey alluded to. Vince Carter forever. Yeah, I remember at one point, Jlowe, All-Star Weekend, like Joey alluded to, you gathered for it. You had fun for it. The slam dunk contest was coming on. The 3-point contest was coming on. You had Dwight Howard in the game, even guys like Nate Robinson. And now it's kind of one of those things where everybody looks around and nobody wants to do it. And the guys that could do it, they don't want to do it because the competition wouldn't be good enough. So all these All-Star weekends are kind of clamoring down a little bit. MLB's staying afloat a little bit. I wish their game still was relevant and meaning, but between All-Star Weekend, Rays Fan Fest, how the hell you doing? Florida had a big win. That was nice to see.
No, absolutely. Get it, boys, stay hot, baby. I mean, they're just top team in the conference right now in the SEC. They're on a hot streak again. And
for your bugs, we're going to do something real quick.
Yeah.
Very good.
Occupy while the Lightning are on a little break right now during the Olympics. So watching the Gators and going to the Rays Fan Fest was a lot of fun as well, which I'll get into in a little bit. But man, it's just been the first Sunday without football, but not breaking yet. So, off to a good start.
Yeah, and you copped that hat from Fan Fest. I see that's a beautiful looking hat there, my friend. I like that style. I like it. That's a cool one.
No, I appreciate it, man. That yard sale, man, $5 a piece, man. You can't beat that. That's another thing I liked about the Fan Fest, because they sell a lot of those hats, bobbleheads, and stuff like that. I mean,
and the White Sox do that too. They call it a garage sale. You would never catch the Cubs dead doing bullshit like that. If you got a $5 item at a Cubs game, Joey, it would probably be a broken freaking peanut shell on the ground or something.
Yeah, I mean, our football teams are good at it, but not so much on the Cubs end of things. Shout out Jlowe. Look, he had a great time with his daughter doing that. Looked like a beautiful day. Weather's here better as well. But yeah, no, You wouldn't see that too much with the Cubs. They charge you a left nut, probably.
Yeah, so I can't wait to get into Fan Fest with Jlowe. Jlowe got to meet some of our friends of the programs, a great Pat, well, not meet him, but see him again, Pat Donovan, Chris Mathis, a great T-Crest, so we'll get into all that and more. But first and foremost, guys, now that we're in the offseason, believe it or not, could you believe it? No more football on the docket. I know the official season hasn't started yet, gentlemen, but Joey and Jlowe, how many times in the past couple of years I feel like it started when I was in college when they started making like trades and then their wait to be announced. And then once the league year starts, you could announce the trade. So happy trade season, gents. We're here. This is the time where your teams could start, I guess, agreeing to trades. We've seen it happen before. And then once the day one of the NFL season officially opens for 2026, that trade could become official. So say the Bengals franchise tag Hendrickson and trade him to the Colts. That could happen now and become official day one of the new year. Say the Bucs swing a deal for Max Crosby. That could be done now, but made official the day of the new year. So A, it's trade time, gents. And B, it's also franchise tag thought process time. Franchise tag and transition tag. Kind of becoming a rarity in this league, but they could be used. Jlowe, we'll start with you here first. Do you see the Bucs making a pre-trade and it becoming official on day one? And B, do you see them using a franchise or transition tag?
Truthfully, I mean, I know everybody's gunning for Max Crosby. I'm just being realistic. I don't see like giving up multiple draft picks unless the owners push him to. It has to be an owner's sign off on that. But I don't see the Bucs making any moves as far as like trades or any franchise tagging anybody. I think personally they're just going to be focusing on free agency when it happens, see who's going to become available instead of trading, going out for signing, restructures and everything, open up the cap space. But you never know. I mean, like could surprise us. I just don't see it happening. As long as we all know like he just doesn't make moves like that, you know, especially at the beginning of the offseason like that. I rarely ever see that.
Olivia in the house saying, hey, fellas. Hey, Olive. Once again, we love our lady listeners. Oscar asking about NASCAR. It is Daytona 500 Day, ladies and gentlemen. That's one of the bigger ones. I saw John Gruden was actually at the Daytona 500. It looked like if you're interested in betting out there, I kind of like Kyle Busch to win this one. You know, I'm a Busch guy, but some of the big odds are Joey Logano 11-1, Busch 11-1, Ryan Blaney 11-1, followed by Denny Hamlin 12-1, Chase Elliott 14-1, Kyle Larson 14-1 as well. Some other notable names going through the list. Bubba Wallace 25-1. He's a fan favorite. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., another beloved by the crowd, 33-1. That's some good value there. Austin Dillon 45-1. That's interesting value there. Ty Dillon, little bro, 66-1. Jimmy Johnson 80-1, fellas. Joey, Jimmy Johnson still kicking in NASCAR 80-1. But any thoughts on the Daytona 500, Joey or Jlowe?
I know they had a little bit of weather mishap today. It starts at 12:30 our time, so it's interesting for me once it gets down to the final few laps. But I usually am not big on the first half of these things as they take some time. But yeah, it moved earlier. If you are a fan, due to the rain, so just be on the whereabouts that it won't be later than 1:30 Eastern, 12:30 Central start.
And obviously, I know it's different, but I did attend the Indy 500 once. I attended a NASCAR Chicago street race once, different style because it's crazy. But those races are cool. Sadly, when I went to the Chicago race, it was a little rained out as well, shortened race there. Indy 500, like you said, Joe, kind of first couple, laps are meh. And then once it gets towards the end, gets really intense. Jlowe, any thoughts on NASCAR, Indy, or the Daytona 500 in general?
I will say, I mean, it's interesting. I would love to go to a live event eventually. It's on my bucket list just to see it live. That sounds a lot of fun. I've heard a lot of great things being there. Watching it live is pretty cool, but you never know. I mean, that right there, when it comes to betting, you never know who's going to win those things. That's big money right there if you ask me.
I am sad because Martin Truex Jr., my favorite NASCAR racer, is no longer, he retired, so he's no longer a part of the Daytona 500. He could come back down the road for, like, you know, how golfers and a guy like Jimmy Johnson does, but for now, no Martin Truex Jr. in the Daytona 500. So I'll have to see who I'm pulling for. Maybe Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I know it's an underdog, but if I were betting, I would go Busch. I think Busch overcomes. But Joey, Colts, franchise tag, transition tag. And remember, franchise tag means you got the player, means, you know, nobody is going to be able to negotiate with that guy. That's a Colts guy. It's a 1-year contract. And the way the franchise tag works, say if you franchise tag a quarterback, it's 1 year and his money is average of the top 10 paid at his position. And then wide receiver, same thing, and so forth. Where a transition tag, for those unfamiliar, is where you could tag somebody with the transition tag. Say if the Bucs transition tagged Evans, which they wouldn't, just using him as an example, that would still leave a team like Carolina able to sign him, negotiate with him, and then the Bucs would be ability to trade with them, get some draft picks in return. So Joey, there are different tags on the market out there, first and foremost, but secondly, do the Colts use a tag? As Jimmy Coletta says, good morning, gentlemen. First Sunday without football. Depressing times, at least Cubs baseball is around the corner.
A Patriot right there. And yes, we have a Cubs World Series to win. Fuck the Dodgers. But back to it in football. I do expect them to be involved in some way with the tag, whether it's a tag and trade for Hendrickson or Pierce. The 3 moves I fully expect to happen for the Colts. Showing signs from Chris Ballard's aggressiveness last offseason with getting Cam Bynum, Charvarius Ward, and then also Tyler Warren in the draft, and then he traded for Sauce Gardner. I fully expect the Colts to be making moves. Some players will be on their way out, some in, but I fully expect Daniel Jones and Pierce to be back, and I do think Trey Hendrickson ends up a Colt with the connections from Lou Anarumo, D-line coach, and just the rumors from the past offseason. So things might have to maneuver. You'll see some changes in Indy on defense. Pittman might have to be on the move if you do bring Pierce back, or vice versa. But like I said, in my mind right now, I truly believe Daniel Jones, Alec Pierce, and Trey Hendrickson will be Colts by the time we get to mid-March.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. And like I said, trades can be happening behind closed doors right now. We don't even know. It's crazy. Our teams could be very active with other teams as we speak.
They did say more trades are going to your point, I did hear a lot of reports with some, I don't know exactly, but maybe some of the positions of free agency. They did say, to your point, that more trades will be done, they think, than ever before this offseason.
Mike Tannenbaum, and I was creaming my pants when I heard this. I don't
Wait, I'm over Mike Tannenbaum? That's your boy?
Well, he said we could somehow get Crosby for 2 second-round picks. And I mean, he that's what he predicted. He said the Bucs
I would do that in a heartbeat.
I know. Yeah, go ahead, Jlowe.
No, I'm saying we all would. I mean, that would be a home run hit, especially that's in Jason Light's, corner when it comes to trading, lower pits. I mean, I just find that hard to believe. I just, it's as close as him and Spytek really are. I just don't see Spytek risking his job where he can probably get a lot more value than 2 second-round picks for Matt Crosby. But hey, you never know. If Tampa's on the money, I'm all for it. I mean, I'm with you, Tones. I'll join in on that, but I just don't see the Raiders giving up Crosby for 2 seconds. If I was a Raiders fan, I'd be fucking livid if they trade away our best player on the roster for 2 second-rounders. Maybe for this year's first and next year's second would be more realistic, but I just don't see that happening at all. But I could be wrong.
Our gal Jenny from the block is here. Good morning, guys. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you. Hope your Valentine's Day was fantastic out there. Hope everybody had a great Valentine's Day out there. People are still celebrating today. I know a couple guys at work that made reservations for today. So if you're still celebrating out there, enjoy Valentine's Day tremendously. And then it's off into a little bit more winter, and then spring's right around the corner, which brings baseball, NFL free agency, and so much more, and great Buccateers coverage, as we will be live tomorrow, Monday night. We'll see if it's a dive into the 813 or a Man Cave Monday, but we will be back on the program tomorrow, expected around 6 o'clock Eastern. theirs. And then we'll be back Wednesday or Thursday night TBD with Pigskin and Pile Drivers, our new show debuted last week. If you missed it, go check it out now. We talk NFL, UFC, and wrestling all in one good show. We're a combat sports show, right? Right? You know, tackling, fighting. That's what we do best on Pigskin and Pile Drivers. So check that out. Then in short notice, in a couple of weeks, we'll be starting up our power hours again. Those will be incredible. We're really going to dive deep again with Bucs podcasters, film guys, media guys, a bunch of guys here in the Tampa area to do that. But fellas, Colts, Bucs, the rest of the NFL looking straight in the eyes of the offseason. T-Crass said if he could get Jason Light on to announce a trade, that would be fantastic. We'll see if it happens. Shout out to T-Crass. We would love if that does happen. But Colts and Bucs are going to look to be busy on the open markets. Joey, Colts hired a guy I noticed. Is their staff set now? They kind of did what Bucs did a little bit, higher familiarity, help out that defense a little bit. Lou Anaromo brought in one of his buds a couple days ago, and Bucs are doing the same. Good familiarity. Why not bring him in? It can't hurt, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's why I was so glad to see Lou Anaromo back with us, because last year was year one. You're kind of getting a lot of players from the Gus Bradley regime, and then you got to make a couple of small changes. Like we saw the second linebacker position change a lot before we landed on Pratt, which was a good move. But this year he'll have a full off season. He'll be able to get more of his players to meet in the system, and I can't wait for that. So the coaching staff is solidified, and then it will come down to the players. But now that all the head coaches are hired, like you said, now that, you know, these positional coaches, it will be a little, you know, we're in a quiet week here coming up too. But once we get to the end of February, it's going to be all guns blazing for our team. So let's finish up this coaching stuff and move on to the big boy off season.
Yeah, Jlowe, now that it is the offseason, quick thoughts. How do your Sundays change football to non-football? You know, before Sunday with football, a day where you're telling people I'm busy. Get the hell away from me. I got football to watch. Now the schedule opens up a little bit. You know, does that change for you, or are you still a sports guy on Sundays?
Kind of in the midst. I mean, it'll give me more opportunities to do Disney Day with my older daughter. With Ray's baseball, most likely playing every Sunday. I try to catch a couple Tropicana games, take the kids to that as well. Those are always a fun treat during the day. I always enjoy a day baseball game than a night one. So that's probably going to be a lot on the schedule, going to some more Rays games, try to be more involved with the team now that we have new ownership and try to be supportive of that. So that'd be one thing. And you never know. It could be a rest day, recharge my battery. You know, when you work all week, have a little fun Saturday, kind of recharge. So my schedule will be open up a little bit, but not too much. I'll still stick with the sports stuff.
Bud Cannibals, neglected house chores. Love it, love it, love it. Joey, what say you? Sundays, how does the script flip for you, football to non-football?
Well, the biggest change is I don't get home to the parents' house by 11:30, the latest. Central time. So that's probably the biggest change. Usually, you know, I either do a different day or get home. Cubs play 1:20 on Sundays most often, or at like noon, and I get home for that, as you know. So still the sports, but yeah, the mornings change a little, not just all football. I actually did a little spring cleaning myself this morning.
Whoa.
Got some breakfast for the boys. And, you enjoying that little meal?
My breakfast must be in the mail still, huh?
I mean, but yeah, I mean, it's just a little different. It's a little different. But hey, we're gonna have a great day. I mean, I just like to mix, like I said. I mean, today I'll be watching anything from Olympic hockey to NBA All-Star game to the Pebble Beach last day, to Indiana versus Illinois college hoops. So it's just a lot more variety. It's not the full-blown heart attack like we have on Sundays waiting for our teams to win or lose. Which
I was going to say, kind of a stress-free flip of the script.
Exactly. And even when Cubs play, like, it's stressful on a Sunday, but with 162 games, it doesn't kill your day. It does hurt, but it's not a killer like for the football. So get a little more stuff done with a little more variety in sports.
The beautiful thing with the baseball, basketball, or hockey loss, you play a lot sooner than the football team does, right? When your football team loses, the soonest you're going to play is Thursday, and that's just eating you alive. Like Joey said, when the Cubs play, you got 162. You're likely to play within the next day or two. Basketball, hockey, you rebound as well. But I view it the same. Sundays without football, I still watch sports, but other stuff as well could be done on there. Speaking of other stuff, guys, speaking of done real quick, we're going to go over the key dates of the 2026 NFL offseason before we carry on here. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the official dates to keep an eye on for the latest and greatest of the offseason. February 17th, that's the first big one. Just 2 days away, Jlowe and Joe. That is the first day to designate franchise tags and transition tags. So again, remember there's 3 types of tags: non-exclusive franchise tags, exclusive franchise tags, transition tags. Starting in 48 hours, those tags can start being applied. Then February 23rd through March 2nd, Indianapolis takes on the NFL Scouting Combine. That's always a fun weekend. You always hear good stories. You might see Jordan Schultz and Ian Rappaport in the Marriott Starbucks getting into arguments. You might see Malik Willis helping ladies across the street. You never know what you're going to see in that combine. March 9th or 11th, fellas, that's not far away. The legal tampering period begins. Free agency begins March 9th. We are close. We are close. That's always a very fun time in the National Football League. Then March 11th, fellas, 4 p.m. Eastern. Take off those gloves. Free agency, new league year begins. Trades become official. Signings become official. Legal tampering, my ass. We all know that's official. Legal tampering, geez. March 29th through April 1st, annual league meetings. If a trade didn't go down yet, might go down there. April 6th, offseason workouts begin for these teams with new head coaches. So, Steelers, Ravens, Cleveland, all you other teams with new head coaches. April 6th. April 20th, offseason workouts begin for teams with returning head coaches. Colts, Bucs, everybody, not everybody else, a lot of other teams as well. And then NFL draft, April 23rd through April 25th. What will our teams do? Colts have no first-round pick, but second round still very exciting, and you never know if they move back in. The Bucs pick number 15. May 1st. This is an important one. Deadline to exercise fifth-year options. So, be looking at your draft class from a couple of years back. Your teams are going to have to decide if they want that fifth-year option on those 2021 drafted players come May 1st. And then May 19th through 20th, spring league meetings begin. So I bet you schedule comes out right around those spring meetings, May 19th or 20th. But Joey, quick thoughts on the schedule we have ahead for the NFL offseason. It never sleeps.
Nope. That's why I'm really excited for that, free agency period a little bit before, where teams start re-signing their own, tagging their own. And then it leads into that free agency where, like we said, trades will pick up. And then every month is something, right? Like you mentioned with April and the draft, and then boom, it's mini camp. So this shit moves faster than people think. I'm here to embrace it all, because by the time we get to the season, usually Jlowe's over in the first couple of weeks. We know it, all of a sudden it's a Super Bowl when he's over, and time just flies. So I'm thoroughly enjoying the offseason. There is no point to rush life. One day closer to anything possible happening. Might as well take all these days, enjoy them, and hey, embrace all the other sports while we get in a ton of off-season work. It's going to be a fun off-season for our teams. Both the Colts and the Bucs need to win now, or there will be changes in the coaching staff / front offices. So it's a very exciting time to me for our two teams. With all the parity in the NFL, we saw Seattle and New England. Nobody predicted those two teams to be in the Super Bowl this year. Anything is now possible with the word parity, and I'm all in for everything that happens now through the summer.
I'm all in. And Bud, you are correct. Kancey is up for option. I fully expect the Buccaneers to pick that up and he'll be around on a, cheapish 5th-year deal. But you know what, fellas? Listen to this all at once. We have NFL free agency, March Madness, and World Baseball Classic all at the same damn time. That's all going to be. And, 2 years ago, I vividly remember, Joey, Jimmy P was bricked up. I was on a cruise. I was in the San Diego area, and the Bears signed Keenan Allen. And now free agency will be starting right before a cruise again. I'll be in Fort Lauderdale on March 11th, March 12th, right as free agency's going. So I'll probably have to bring my laptop out there. We'll get a live beach show going. That would be fun from the beach out there because Mean Gene, substitute Gene's gone missing. But we'll see if we could get him back by then. We'll see what happens and see if we could get it going. But yeah, can't see Jlowe. I fully expect to be picked up, right?
Yeah, I think he'll get the option pickup. He's been down with injuries, unfortunately, but he's still productive for the most part when he hits the field. So I see the pick up the option. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah. So again, some of the other candidates for
Did you
those
say
options,
Gene or Guthrie?
no, Gene or Gunther.
Oh no, I'm sorry. No, I wasn't fully paying attention. My bad.
Holy crap. But some of the big name players we're gonna have to keep eyes on for those options. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Will Anderson, Anthony Richardson is the Colts. Because remember, it's just first round picks. Joey, thoughts on that? They're probably not gonna pick that up, I'm guessing.
Yeah, no, I'm more intrigued to see if we move on for Richardson, $10 million cap hit this year, if we want to keep him to compete for the backup role with Riley Leonard, or we kind of just move him on because look at where Trey Lance now. He's in a pretty good spot where he's at after all the failed times, between San Fran and Dallas. So it looks like learning more and more. The NFL sometimes, I'm not going to harp on it too much. It wasn't the question, but with these young guys, things move a lot faster. So we'll see if there's a fresh start or not year, but I don't expect the option to be picked up now.
Yeah, I don't either. We'll get Gator Guy, Jlowe's thoughts on it in a minute. But Bud, remember too, and I agree with you, cheaper and smarter, but you could pick up the option and work that into an extension. So for example, the Seattle Seahawks could pick up JSN's 5th-year option and piggyback an extension off of that option, which would be a win-win for both of them, right? So they could declare, hey, we're picking up his 5th-year option. And then as soon as that 5th year comes complete, they could already back end an extension to that 5th-year option. Jlowe, we've seen things like that happen in Tampa before with some of these younger guys as well. But quick thoughts on Anthony Richardson and Kalijah Kancey with their 5th-year options. I could see Kancey being a guy where he gets the 5th year and then the Bucs extend him as well.
No, and I couldn't agree more. And plus, with the extension, it probably won't be as top dollar as most of these guys get. I feel like Kancey would do a pretty team-friendly deal extension to make room to sign other players. I really think that's the case with him. Anthony Richardson needs a fresh start. It's time. I think the Colts will most likely, of course, they're not going to pick up his 5th-year option, but they should be able to find a team that's quarterback needy, bring in a quarterback for competition. Like I mentioned in the past, Richardson was not ready for the NFL. He didn't stay another year. He went for the money. For the most part, he was a top pick, no doubt. But he's a guy that needs to learn the game, and it's time for a new fresh start. Go put him with a new offensive mind coach to work with him. And it wouldn't shock me if a team like the Rams, the Cardinals, there's going to be teams looking for, backup QBs or even quarterbacks to go in there for competition, fresh start, because we don't know what's going to happen with Kyler Murray with his contract situation. So to me, I see that happening absolutely.
Joey, some other guys, as we put a bow on football talk, but some other guys eligible for those options: Devon Witherspoon, Bijan Robinson, Jalen Carter, Jahmyr Gibbs, Christian Gonzalez, Jack Campbell, JSN, as we alluded to, Zay Flowers, Dalton Kincaid, Joey Porter Jr., Darnell Wright. Pretty loaded there, Joey. And this is one of those things where obviously finding those gems in 2 to 7, gentlemen, are where you want the bread and butter, because that means you had a great draft. But Joey, people forget that little caveat. A first rounder is more preferred to pay off because you don't get that 5th-year option with a 2nd, a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th, a 6th, or a 7th round pick like you do the first round pick.
Yeah, I mean, and a couple of names you mentioned there that really stand out. Of course, Bijan Robinson, as you guys are all aware of in the division, and then Christian Gonzalez from New England. Two players that really make a difference in the National Football League. Some of those plays Gonzalez made in the Super Bowl were electric. But yeah, no, you're right. You definitely do have that luxury when they're a first-round pick. So if you do have a really good player, you don't have to lose them or pay him big right at the moment. Now, there will be some exceptions, of course, like quarterbacks. For example, if Caleb Williams were to have another good season, they'll probably just give him a big contract after this year instead of waiting for the option year. But a lot of movement to be had. You named about 15 guys. I could see a good amount of them, returning with that option.
Correct. And if the Bears are smart, it might make Caleb a little, but you do both. You pick up the option and say, we'll extend you backed up off the option. But if you want to keep Caleb happy, you probably just get right to it, which I allude Seattle would probably do with JSN, right? You don't want to mess around with him. You want to extend him right now. But what a draft that was. I mean, you had Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Will Anderson Jr., Devon Witherspoon, Bijan Robinson, Jalen Carter, Darnell Wright, Jahmyr Gibbs, Christian Gonzalez, Jack Campbell, Kalijah Kancey, JSN, Zay Flowers, Dalton Kincaid. That's only all in the first round. And then I misspoke earlier. I mentioned Joey Porter Jr. That was a weird draft where he was picked 32, but it was like the first pick of the second round. I think New England got a first, or somebody got a pick take. Maybe Miami that was for the tampering that year, but somebody got a pick taken away. So Joey Porter Jr. doesn't have that fifth-year option, even though he was picked 32. It was technically a second-round pick. But we are live here on the Buccateers podcast. Jlowe, Joey Nips, Tampa Tones. You could also catch Zach Katz, Bucko, and Stunna, and the rest of the guys here on weekend shows as well throughout. And Gene. We can't forget about the great Gene as well, the Genester. But we will be back Monday, tomorrow on a Man Cave Monday or a deep dive into the 813. Then we'll be back Wednesday or Thursday with our Pigskin and Pile Drivers show. And Jlowe, speaking of Pigskin and Pile Drivers, you pile drove right into Ray's Fan Fest. Go over it. Who'd you meet? You met a couple of cool dudes there. You got a couple of cool items. How was it in general over at Ray's Fan Fest? Do you recommend it to Tampa locals for next year? Oscar says he doesn't think Richardson gets an extension. I don't think so either, Oscar.
No, he won't. But back to the Fan Fest, it was definitely a lot of fun. Pretty much free general admission. You just got to download the ticket and all that stuff. Pretty simple stuff. $0 on entry. I mean, they had some pretty good vendors out there. They had face painting, balloons. I mean, simple things for the kids, So shout out to the city of St. Pete, also the new owners of the Rays and all that, putting it all together outside the Trop. Because inside the Trop, it's a bit different. But luckily, the weather was nice. They have so many stuff to do. They have player, greets with fans and stuff like that. Some you had to pay for. But really, you don't have to, because sometimes the players would just be walking with security and they'll be taking pictures, signing real quick, just taking the time to do that. So shout out to the players doing that, because some players will just go, I'm just here just to do this, be part of the team. No, you do it for the fans. So that to me,
did it cost
really
money to meet the players, or was it free?
Yes, like some of the popular ones, yes, like Shane McClanahan, Gina Cabernero, some of the bigger
names.
It's
like a WrestleCon type event.
Yes. But the cool thing about it is when they're leaving their booth with security and they're walking through fans, they would take the time to stop and take pictures and sign autographs anyway. So to me, that's where I give them the shout out for taking the time to do that, because really they could just be bouncing, okay, I'm ready to go back home or go to spring training, get it going. But no, for the most part, that was pretty awesome. I will say the mascots were there. The fans loved that as well. Music playing. And plus the deal on the hot dog, chips, and bottled water for $5. I mean, that's a steal, especially when you go with a big family. You save a lot of money. Oh, and free parking. That was another clutch thing. They didn't charge you for parking either. That's another thing I will say as well. That was clutch.
And I feel like it just, on top of all those great things you mentioned, Jlowe, and you would know this based on experience, but I feel like it officially, like, for fans, that is the perfect time to have a fan fest. The Rays do it right. Football's done. Spring training's on the doorstep. The Cubs had theirs about a month ago. That's just too long. You know, that's in the heart of the playoffs, in the heart of football season. To me, that's done wrong. I think the Rays do it right. And now look at you. You're all geared up, ready for baseball.
Absolutely, with the yard sale, which is one of my favorite things to do when I go. That was my first time going in 3 years. But they had so many good deals: $5 hats, $5 shirts, BOGO on the bobbleheads, $5. I mean, you can't go wrong with those things, especially with Longoria. They're going to retire his number, and then they're going to have a pretty much a retirement speech game for him. And what's cool was they had the shirts saying Forever Ray for like $5, extra large, not too big, not too small, just right fit. Just don't put it in the dryer. That was pretty cool as well. They even had some Connecticut City jerseys of Randy Rose Arena, you know, but they were gone. They were just like this. Like fans, I mean, you got to get there early if you want to get the yard sale, get all those good, you know, things, good deals. Because the 2X and over, unfortunately, they were all gone by the time I got to it because there's so many people there. But they had so much stuff to do. And that's one thing I will say about the Fan Fest, especially that you don't have to pay a lot of money out to be there, be part of the atmosphere. Shout out to the guys for WAE Radio, iHeartRadio. I got to meet T. Crass for a brief second because he was on the go. The man's busy wherever he does. Christopher Mathis was really cool, took the time to talk and all that. I mean, the whole group is all really down to earth, really cool people. It was just nice to see Christopher Mathis in person. We had him on the Power Hour last year, so he definitely bigger difference. And then Nick Wise, one of the other guys who I enjoyed talking to. Unfortunately, I see Aaron Jacobson because he came a little bit later. But Pat Donovan, remember us from the brewery. That was pretty cool talking with him for a couple of minutes. He's got a new sit tattoo on his leg, by the way. It looked really cool. I gave him shout out to that. So, you know, hopefully I'll be able to go see his guy, you know, maybe get a good deal and get some tattoos of my own in the future. But for the most part, I mean,
we'll save that for a rainy day. You know, I mean, you got a long off season to get him.
I'm telling you, for the most part. But overall, the Fan Fest is a great way for even baseball fans in general to go interact, even on Valentine's Day. Because unfortunately, not everybody's in a relationship. I know I'm not, but couples came that are real sports fans. I mean, it was just a good event in general, and especially going back to St. Pete, because St. Pete took the L last year, not having really any baseball events or anything because the Trop got destroyed from the hurricane a couple of years ago. So that there's already getting fans hyped up to see going back in the Trop. Even though it's convenient for me over here at Steinbrenner Field, but going to the Trop's a different environment. You're in the AC. They got a lot of activities for the kids. So it'll be interesting to see what they upgraded, what they renovated after fixing the roof over there.
It'll be back in full force. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Trop's looking like. Great insight there, Jlowe and Ray's Fan Fest. We highly recommend it next season for those that were unable to attend this year. The past couple of years, I had at different spots. 1 year it was in the Trop. Last year it was somewhere else. This year somewhere else. But it sounds like a great time wherever it might be. So, Joey, before we get your deep dive on All-Star Weekend, I just want to give a quick public service announcement to those in relationships. As Jlowe mentioned, relationships, Valentine's Day. I'm telling you right now, ladies, the ladies that take Valentine's Day very seriously, you got gifted a gift this year from the sports gods. Don't expect that next year. You got Valentine's on a Saturday night. Listen to what the sports gods did for you. They did not put UFC on a Saturday night, usually on. Guys would be distracted at dinner. You'd have guys watching their favorite UFC fighter on their phone while eating a steak, trying to talk to the love of their life. The sports god said, no, we're not going to make you do that. They put the All-Star Weekend up early. So by the time it's done, you could go out to dinner, right? The dunk contest was at 5 o'clock, ended things. It was done by 6. They said, hey, you could still go out to a nice dinner after. But next year, ladies, if you are the one to make your guy miss a Super Bowl party, because Valentine's Day is on Sunday, get used to celebrating on Saturday, because that's what you're going to be doing next year. You got Friday, you got Saturday, you got Monday. If you do it on Sunday, you will not want to be the one, oh, where is John Doe? Oh, they're out at Valentine's dinner. What? You're going to be known as that chump that missed the Super Bowl party to go out to Valentine's dinner? Just a fair warning. Get it done with on Friday, Saturday, or wait till Monday. That shit ain't happening Sunday. And if you're at a good Super Bowl party next year, they'll still have a little bit of Valentine's decorations. If you're a girl who cooks for the party, you could still be smart. Instead of just making football foods, make little heart-shaped foods as well. But I'm telling you, Sunday is for Super Bowl next year. Joey, thoughts on All-Star Weekend and Valentine's Day in general, brother? Give us, how the hell has NBA All-Star Weekend fell to the depths that it has?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's due to participation. We can mostly thank LeBron James for that, at least from a dunk contest perspective, where, you had Jordan and the greats. Then you had Vince Carter, and then even some good times along the way, Dwight Howard and Nate Robinson made it more fun. But, yeah, no, definitely taking a fall. I mean, with the Olympics, I've been more intrigued by, like, hockey, and even curling's been great. I've been watching those live when I can, if not catch the replay on the Cock Network. But, yeah, we'll see. They're trying with the NBA today. If anybody does tune in, which I don't assume a lot will, but if you do tune into the NBA All-Star Game today, don't forget it's 3 teams. And they have pretty much a round-robin tournament. They play to like 40 or 50, and then it ends up being a winning team out of the 3. So that's kind of what it's about today. 2 USA teams and then 1 international. If you do tune in at 5 Eastern. But like I said, I'll be more focused on the USA men's hockey. They have a big game against Germany at 3 Eastern, 2 Central, with seeding and buys on the line. And honestly, I agree with you on everything Valentine's Day. I mean, Super Bowl trumps. I mean, really, unless it's your first Valentine's Day, and I don't even think that would, but Super Bowl trumps all when it comes to
and look at Trisha, a lady herself. This is how they should think. It's just amazing. Yeah, but I think, it's like a Hallmark holiday. I still enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I hate Valentine's, whatever, but definitely doesn't come over Super Bowl. That's for damn sure. We are live here on the Buccateers discussing all things sports, NBA All-Star break, Rays Fan Fest, hockey, Olympics, and so much more. Joey, AEW had a pay-per-view last night. Looked like MJF retained. Any other fun things happen throughout that pay-per-view? Looked like Tony Storm was in a mixed tag team match as well. Wheeler Yuta had to have his head shaved. That was pretty funny stuff.
Yes, I did see the head shaving. That was interesting because he did have decently long hair now. MJF walked out as champ as he beat that scumbag, who I don't even know, Brody King. And then it was on tape delay. That makes much more sense. I did just see that. So that makes sense why it was on such a good time. But also John Moxley fought in that. And then Kyle Fletcher, the TNT title is now a little bit rejuvenated. They made it have a new look coming out on the top of the victory. If you're used to the long AEW cards, you don't have to worry so much on this one. It was 6 matches on the main card, which usually they have 9 or 10. So if you went to go back and rewatch it on HBO Max, feel free. It's not a super long watch, and you don't have to deal, of course, with any commercials. So overall, a pretty entertaining pay-per-view. I watched that last night as there wasn't as much with the other festivities. Like you said, things were done early in the day, but that was still on at night.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the Iconics, and I think one NXT ladies tag team went over there as well. I forget their names, but they were in NXT just a couple months back, and now it looks like they're in AEW. I forget what their names were, but overall interesting. As we know, wrestling's a revolving door. You're going to have superstars showing up in each other's promotions based on money. Even TNA, you had Jelly Roll there. On Friday night, they had a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious. They put, Jelly Roll missed the fine print in his WWE deal where they forced him to attend a TNA pay-per-view. I was like, man, that is hilarious. But it turns out, again, fake news, it was in the guy's hometown. So he was probably like, fuck it. I'm home. It's in my backyard. I might as well attend, right?
And he's a lot more sober than he used to be. So instead of just partying it up, he has more time where he's going out to these events. If anybody watched the dog shit Grammys, he was one of the best parts of it because he's truly blessed God and blessed his lady and so much more and family for getting back to
Yeah, you see
surprise.
this. You see this crazy Canadian comedian lady trying to take him down now, trying to say he's not who he makes himself out to be. Yada
Oh,
yada.
first off, Canada's trash. Always have interest in maybe visiting Toronto one day, but just a country that doesn't get it. So I don't listen to people with pea brain like that.
Wow, Jlowe, quick thoughts before we move on to our next topic.
Yeah, I mean, leave Jelly Roll alone. Leave the man alone. Let the man enjoy life. Why are you going to badmouth him for? I mean, that's just stupid. And I agree with Joey. Fuck Canada. Even though they got my boy John Cooper coaching.
Oh, yeah, there's some cool aspects. But, I mean, right now with the Olympics, fuck them.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's why it kills me. That's why I can't wait for it to be over so we can get Cooper back to Tampa, to American soil, and I won't have to be so hard on rooting against them if the USA has to play Canada for the most part. I will say that. But shout out to, Jay Gensel on USA's team. I've been rooting for him a lot. I grew on him a lot ever since the Lightning traded for him last year during the offseason. So that's pretty cool. I'll be tuning in to him, watching him play later.
And again, what's interesting is it makes a fun little rivalry with other countries in sports, right? Canada, USA goes at it, which brings me to my next question, Joey. For you, as the World Baseball Classic starting up too, as we mentioned earlier, that March Madness, NFL free agency, all at the same damn time here in a couple weeks. Would you rather have Team USA hockey bring home the gold in the Olympics, or would you rather have Team USA in the World Baseball Classic outdo Ohtani and Team Japan? Assuming, again, I'm just assuming that'll be the finals, but it might not be. But what would you rather have, Joe? USA hockey, USA baseball, Olympics, World Baseball Classic, bring home the gold?
Yeah, like for example, now that you mentioned, I dove a little deeper. Like the Cubs play Team Italy. USA plays the Giants, Great Britain plays the Brewers, Mexico the Diamondbacks, and so on and so forth. So many countries play these spring training teams getting ready. Here's how I'll split it. I like baseball more than hockey overall, just from growing up. But to me, it's kind of like the soccer World Cup. When anytime you have the Four Nations tournament or USA Olympic hockey, the movie Miracles. I mean, all the players now talk about how that rejuvenated them as kids. I put hockey Olympics over pretty much any Olympics. Because football doesn't do it. I don't care about that flag football shit. And then basketball and baseball do, and I get into those. But I love their seasons on their own more, if that makes sense. So Olympic hockey is number one for me.
Yeah, and when baseball's in the Olympics, it's always like really young or really old guys. At least the World Baseball.
What was, not to cut you off, but wasn't it a couple years ago when they had a big home run in the World Baseball Classic? I can't remember who it was, but it was on at weird times of day. But I remember being at an airport, and I can't remember if it was Turner, the little guy who banged a homer or something. But I do feel like there's been some cool moments, but it's hard for me to always keep up.
Yeah, that's what I will say. World Baseball Classic, a lot better than Baseball Olympics, in my opinion. I still root for Team USA in the Baseball Olympics, but good God, it's like Todd Frazier's still playing for Team USA. Because that one's like obviously in the summer, so they don't pause their season like hockey does, right? Baseball just kind of hopes USA could still win with their talent. But the World Baseball Classic, J-Lo, they strategically put it, as Joey alluded to, mixed with spring training, so people will be more motivated to play, and they don't have to stop the season for it. What say you, World Baseball Classic or hockey Olympic gold medal? What do you prioritize?
Oof, tough. I mean, I'm going to go with hockey. Hockey's my second favorite sport. And then baseball 3, no disrespect to the world of baseball. I always enjoyed the physical, just the rivalry between Canada and USA. So I say USA, go get that gold. Sorry, Coach Coop, but you're on the wrong team, but it's okay. I still love you when you come out to Tampa. But the World Baseball Classic, it's interesting how they're doing during spring. I agree. Don't let it interfere during the season. I'm all about that. I'm with that 100%. To me, that's what I hate about the Olympics when it comes to hockey. It's like in the middle of hockey season, and hopefully it doesn't throw out the lightning.
Do you think hockey should do what baseball does for the Olympics then, and just say, hey, here's our young guys? Like, that's what they used to do. That's why Miracle happened. Because hockey didn't want to pause the season.
And that's what I agree. I feel like it should be before the season because now it may throw off some guys when they come back. The line could cool off a little bit, but I hopefully not. That's my biggest fear with the Olympic being during the season. So I wish you kind of do what the World Baseball Classic does. I'll throw that out there. But I go with Team USA Hockey going for the gold over the World Baseball Classic.
I'm only going to say, I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to say Team USA World Baseball Classic only because taking down Team Japan with a guy like Ohtani and the firepower they have would just be such an incredible thing for Team USA. And Ohtani is a bigger than life figure, best athlete we've probably ever seen in all sports combined. Just taking down a guy like that. And I love Ohtani, but for USA to be able to pride themselves in that, Joey, I think that would be incredible.
Yeah, sorry, it was on mute a quick second there. It would definitely be that way. I do agree on the point where I did listen to Jed Hoyer, Cubs GM, talk about and the Reds GM on how it does. They're not really upset about it or anything. It gives, I guess, other players opportunity in spring since you lose a couple guys depending on your team who goes there and where more. But yeah, it's always a little quirky, but respect to the latter part of your statement. And that's really all I got on that. I'll be more interested when it actually gets here, I guess. But for now, I'm just kind of sitting mellow on it.
Before we get to breadwinner and final words on the Sunday Fun Day program of the Buccateers, Joey, Jlowe, and myself, Cats couldn't make it. Zach couldn't make it. A couple of the other guys couldn't as well, which is fine. This is why we love baseball. Sonny Gray is now on the Red Sox, but obviously pitchers and catchers reported already. A couple of Cincinnati Reds fans are out there at Red Sox camp. It looks like their young kids had their Cincinnati Reds gear. Sonny Gray's kid goes up to those kids, gets their items from the Reds fans, brings them to Sonny Gray, who's a Red Sox now, and Sonny Gray's kid ends up getting two young fans around his age autographs from his dad, Sonny Gray. That's just why baseball is different. You don't really see that in other sports. Beautiful chemistry, beautiful thing to see. Kudos to Sonny Gray's kid and Sonny Gray for being able to make a couple of young fans' days. All it takes is a minute for some of these athletes, and some of these bastards are trying to make a freaking TikTok moment instead of signing some autographs. What the hell's wrong with you? Ugh. Look at AEW's guy, for example. But nonetheless, Buccateers, we killed it with breadwinners again. That's 3 winning seasons now in the world of breadwinners. We're moving on to season 4. If you listen to us, we just make you money. It's that simple. So we're going to do a couple of things here. Final word and breadwinner for the segment. Jlowe, I'm sorry you do not have Florida Gators basketball at halftime that you could pick right now, my friend. So you're going to have to look
Funny. Since you bring that up, I'm going to go with USF on the road, FAU. That's my breadwinner.
What a turnaround. We talked a little before the pod without Amir Abdur-Rahim. Him passing away so tragically from a basic procedure in the hospital a couple of years ago. Now look at this team. That's a lot of fight and willpower, man. That's good stuff there from USF.
Exactly. Shout out to the team in general, the university itself, getting them back on track, competing, winning basketball games. I'm really rooting for them, to go win their conference tourney and maybe make a March Madness appearance. We'll see. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. But that, to me, that's a huge recovery after, 1 year of falling apart because, unfortunately, they lost their former head coach to a small procedure. But the new guy they got in, shout out to him, taking over the program, getting it back to winning. I think he's done great wonders, so shout out to him. That's why I'm very big on USF basketball today with my breadwinner. And it was a fun show today. And like I said, baseball fans, right around the corner, there's a lot of baseball games. So don't worry, I'll be here before you know it. And I'm looking forward to see what the Rays do. I'm not really sold on the roster as much when it comes to competing in the division. We're in one of the toughest divisions in baseball, if you ask me. But the Rays always show up and be competitive. And that's what I look for. Gene Cabernero, you go out there, go for the MVP, man. I believe in you. I think you're a great player, a great person overall. I just see how the way you act around the fans, and that's something huge. And hopefully they'll lock him up and give him the big money that he deserves, with new ownership.
Man, I had a free $10 bet. I put in a parlay yesterday, 4 legs. It would have paid like 2,800, something ridiculous. But North Dakota State men's basketball money line, that hit. Denmark hockey I put in there. They're up 2-0 on Latvia. Xander Schauffele still has a little bit of a comeback to make in golf today, but if he somehow wins and I lose that shit on Jace Richardson in the dunk contest, I'm going to fucking be upset. I'm going to be very upset. So I hope, Xander, I love you, but I hope you don't come back today in Pebble Beach because, yeah, I would be very upset. Joey, what say you? Breadwinner, final thoughts, final words, walk off some more, my friend.
Yeah, I hope Justin Rose does good in the golf, but he's about 7 strokes back, so I don't think
Let's go Rose. I'll root for him too.
He's a little far back, but Scotty Scheffler is making a run. But yeah, like I said, my final word is just enjoy it all. I mean, seems like at least through the Midwest here, we're getting a little bit of heat wave. It might be a tease, but enjoy the weather, enjoy family, enjoy friends, and enjoy all the sports, including the Olympics. I'm going to go with a game tomorrow, if you don't mind, because the red slate the rest of the day is a little choppy. I'm going to take Iowa State money line over Houston tomorrow. That's a big ranked matchup, 2 top 5 teams. Iowa State won a big game yesterday against Kansas, and then Houston had a big win as well. So both of those teams will be licking their chops at the big one tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. And then we have a couple fun events coming up, Tones. We have the Windy City Bowl Suite, which is like their minor league team if you want to keep it easy for the people following at home. And then we're 2 weeks away from going to the WWE Elimination Chamber, so maybe we'll do some meet and greets with that. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, by the way, 2 very fun events. Obviously, Joey and I go into the chamber itself, but there's another Hollywood Boulevard Cinema meet and greet planned. If you can't make it to the chamber, if you can't pay the money, which is fine, try and go to that, Joey. This time it has Alex Riley. It has the Boogeyman. And I forget who the third was announced for that, but I know
Alex
I'll look it
Riley.
up. Yeah, Alex Riley, Boogeyman, and there's somebody else. I forget who it was, but we went last time, met the Godfather and Jacqueline. Oh, it's Matt Riddle. It's Riley, Riddle, and Boogeyman. So that's a pretty fun 3.
I already got that dog shit autograph. He used to be one of my favorite.
He follows me. He still follows me on Twitter, so maybe we could get him on the pod, but that'll be fun. But if you're going to the chamber, Joey and I might meet Lash Legend. We might meet Chelsea Green as well. They do some day of meet and greet photo opportunities, so we're looking into that. Should be fun. My breadwinner today, though, or tomorrow, let me see here. I'm going to go with, here's a cool one. And Penn State, by the way,
Division III golf.
Penn State, by the way, fucked themselves yesterday by, not having themselves ready to roll at Oregon. Bad loss, pretty much eliminated themselves. Not good stuff there. We need Parlay Pete in an instant like this, man. This would be awesome having his breadwinner on here. But I'm going to go with, we're going to go with St. Peter's basketball today. Minus 195 on the money line. That game's at 2 o'clock Eastern. $20 would win you $12. So give me St. Peter's basketball there, fellas. It was a really fun Sunday fun day. Really good stuff there. Appreciate Joey and Jlowe coming on. Appreciate everybody enjoying their sports weekend. Go Team USA. Good luck in golf, Daytona 500, whatever event you're watching. And if you're still celebrating Valentine's Day, enjoy. We're out. Probably be back tomorrow.
Jlowe, watch your words. I'm coming for you.
They're about to film Happy Gilmore 3, it looks like. So we'll see where that leads. Oh, boy. J-Lo's asking him to bring it. We out, Girl Scout. See you later.
I'll
Fire
fix
the
this
damn
somewhere.
Oh, boy. Bro, we'll put it like that. What's it like? I was actually there in attendance in Cleveland for Coe's first career NFL touchdown, which was awesome. And,
Awesome.
it was a great game. You could hear me on camera. I was just screaming, "Say it ain't so, Coe! Say it ain't so!" Sadly, from there, the game kind of went off the rails a little. That was the last high moment of that game, but it was a great game. Overtime loss, fun time. But how was that moment for you? Seeing the first, whether it was on TV, in person, wherever you were, seeing his first NFL touchdown. How was that?
Well, dude. I mean, we were at home because it was a away game. We don't travel to a lot of the away games because we can get into that later. But to watch that and to think I wished I was there live. So to have your video was so cool, and just that, man, this is so cool. I mean, that was so cool for us. Yeah, catching it from Tom Brady, right? Like he's got the ball yet. I mean, first NFL touchdown means a lot, right? I mean, as a dad, that's just so cool to see. And it was fun to watch. And yeah, it didn't have the outcome we wanted, but still the same. What a memory! What a memory to have, right? So,
and honestly,
cool.
those. One of the best guests ever, the Buccateers in the house tonight. You guys hear him on Tampa radio all the time. He's one of the best in the business. My favorite personal in the business. That's why I'm elated tonight. Growing up in the Chicago area, you're used to sports radio. That's what gets me through the day. So this man does help get me through the day, I will say, with the Pat and Aaron show at work. Nothing like it. So it's incredible. It looks like we got Stunna bumbling in. I'm Tampa Tones. We are joined by Lee Goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like you got a little.
No, my camera's broke.
And he was trying to pull me in big time. And then I was like, dang, nothing's happened with Indianapolis yet. Like, I really want to give Indy a chance. And then also I talked to Cody Gruden, once he took over Rich McCann, I'm still like, well, look, I was like, y'all just give me the opportunity to explore free agency, see what's going on, and then kind of make us do it.
All right, everyone, you are tuned into the Buccateers of wide receiver Kalen Geiger, and we are about to have a great pod. This is the Buccateers. You're tapped in, and here we go.